Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning into the Homesteads YouTube channel. Today, I'm excited to talk to you about our first ever attempt at an indoor winter garden. So, first of all, I guess I should show you the lights. I've done a review on these, but I'll just get the tag up there so that you can see really quickly if you want to pause and look these things up yourself. I've done a previous review on these lights. I use them in the spring to get a head start on all the vegetables that we plant outdoors that require a little more time inside, 4 to 6 weeks before we can plant them outside before their last frost. But I thought we might as well continue to put them to use over the winter and get some healthy food for our family while it's frozen outside. So today's November 25th, and our first frost was October 10th. Our first snow was November 1st, and there was 2 frosts in between those 2 dates. And since November 1st, it has not stopped snowing here at all. Really early onset to winter, even though it's still fall. And everything outdoors in the garden has now finished producing and is done for the winter. So yeah, I thought why not put these things to some good use inside while we're waiting anxiously for spring for about the next 6 months here in Canada. So first, I'll go through some math with these lights. It may not seem realistic to grow your own food indoors and use all this hydro, but these are LED lights, and I was super impressed by the fact that I didn't even notice a difference in my hydro bill when I was running them on 12-hour cycles in the spring. I have chosen to continue to run 12-hour cycles, and mostly that's due to the fact that our hydro is a lot cheaper overnight here in Ontario. But I'll do a quick breakdown here. So each light output is about 100 watts per hour. So that's 0.3 kilowatts per hour if I was using all 3 lights. We have off-peak and on-peak times where hydro costs more and less in Ontario. So from 7 p.m. till 7 a.m., that's off-peak time. That runs at 10.9 cents per kilowatt hour. So if I multiply that by the 12-hour interval, 3.6 kilowatt hours per night, that's only 39 cents per night is what I'm paying. Average that out over a month. Say the average month is just over 30 days, so I'll use 30 days. That's $11.77 a month that I'm paying to have these lights on. So the next thing I'll talk to you about is the soil. This is all composted soil that we use in the garden. I went out and I cleared some of the snow off, and I took a shovel, I filled up a bucket, brought it indoors, and filled up these trays. It was under the tomato plants, the soil, so you can see some tomatoes growing in between the onions there. Lots of tomatoes popping up in this bucket under the lights, and even in the trays underneath that haven't received any light, there's still some seedlings, tomato seedlings popping out. No big deal. I'll just pull those out as they start to grow, and I'm sure that they're actually tomatoes and not the other plants that we're trying to grow here. So again, to the feasibility side of this, the green onions that you see back here, those are just cuts, like the leftovers, the roots. I potted those, and that's about a week old, a week yesterday. So they've grown that much in a week. Maximum 2 weeks they'll be ready to harvest, and I have 2 more bunches in the fridge that I'm going to pot up. Maybe I'll purchase 2 more bunches and use those root stocks to pot up and continue to have green onion harvests in the house over the winter. I mean, they're not very expensive, but $1 a bunch. Definitely use a bunch a week for sure, 2 maybe, so that's $2 a week. And if these are planted at the right intervals and harvested at the right intervals, that'll save us $8 a month. So really, maybe even 12. That would cover the whole cost of lighting all 3 racks just in onions that we purchased from the grocery store. Anyways, we'd throw out and continue to purchase. I mean, that's right away offsets the cost of the lighting entirely, at least for the hydro. So you can see that we have some other stuff in the background. I just taped the seed packets. These are all old seed packets too. I mean, some of these are 5 years old, and I thought, I might as well use them. fresh organic herbs throughout the winter is going to be great instead of the dried stuff that you don't know what it's been sprayed with from the grocery store. But you can see some parsley, tarragon. I have some chives back there, some thyme, rosemary, oregano, basil, cilantro, and peppermint. And I'm pretty sure it's all just tomatoes popping up in the peppermint. But the cilantro looks a lot like tomatoes, except the stalks are green and they're not hairy, whereas the tomatoes are kind of purple and are a little furry. So I'll have to let those grow a little bit more, but I can kind of sort them out now. The basil's really taken off. This has been a week, so they weren't supposed to sprout for a week. I think they sprouted on day 2 under these lights. Here, the oregano, you can see that they're just starting to kind of poke up. And basically, the thyme, tarragon, I mean, all these things, they're growing, right? And they're going to take a month before maybe we can harvest anything off of them. But they're all fully edible and healthy and packed with nutrients. So it's, I think, a great investment. I mean, a parsley bunch, there's no weights online, but where I do my groceries, a bunch of parsley's $1.47, dill's $2.47, cilantro's 49 cents a gram. So for 100 grams, you're talking almost $50. So for a kilo of cilantro, you're talking like $490, almost $500. So I'm going to definitely put this stuff to use and put it into our foods, and we're going to be saving a ton of money based on the math that I'm able to do. And if you get into organic stuff, you can basically double the price. So this is all organic. I'm just really looking forward to harvesting some stuff indoors. So on to the trays. I have beets here. You can see they're very tightly packed. And I don't really expect to have full beetroots form in a dish that's only 3 inches deep. But I mean, it's possible, and we're experimenting. Every part of the beet is edible. The leaves are loaded with nutrition, as I've had other people tell me on previous videos where I've highlighted the beets and what we've done with beets. But I mean, you can cut half of these off and use them as microgreens in a salad or a stew. Over here we have lettuce. Just the lettuce alone, like just the nutrients that's in lettuce alone. I'll just read them off here. So fiber, protein, calcium, iron, magnesium, phosphorus, potassium, sodium, zinc, vitamin C, thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, vitamin B6, folate, vitamin A, vitamin E, vitamin K, and fatty acids. I mean, that's a ton of stuff that is going to grow right here organically in our house, in our compost. And, that's this, again, it's going to have to be thinned out. And I have them on the top rack here, the beets and the lettuce, as there's the largest space. I built a couple brackets out of just some cheap wood that I had lying around. But that's going to grow and that's going to fill this up. And I'm excited to see how much we can actually harvest off of this. Down here, I have some kale started. Obviously, kale, it's all edible. That will grow pretty large too, and might have to move it up to the top rack or give it some more space under. This light's much closer. In the back, there's some kohlrabi. Kind of grows like beets as well. Big bulb, but the leaves are fully edible. So even if we don't get any bulb production, or vegetable production, which I'm not really expecting, we'll be able to trim the leaves. There's microgreens, and all of it can go into a salad. And here, something that I've never really had a lot of luck with growing outside, Endive, is another salad. And, those won't get quite as large, but it's just more food production when we're already, matching the hydro price just with the onions. I also have some other stuff that I'm going to plant out. I love Swiss chard. So that'll be, I'm expecting the seeds this week. Spinach is another thing that I'm going to grow in here. And, just to give you some prices and some ideas on the price of some of this stuff. I mean, a head of Endive is $2.47 at my local grocery store. Beets, for a little bunch of beets, you're talking like 2 or 3 beets, that's $3.47. Spinach is $1.97 for a bunch, which it didn't provide weight. Swiss chard is $2.97 for a bunch. red lettuce is $2.47, and spring mix is $5 for one of those plastic containers filled with spring mix. So I mean, this lettuce is kind of a mix of different lettuces and pretty close to spring mix, and all the different things we'll be able to throw into our salads over the winter is basically the equivalent. So I mean, really, if this does well, we're talking about saving hundreds of dollars off our grocery bill. I mean, maybe even once it's up to scale and full production, in the neighborhood of anywhere from $50 to $100 a month, depending on how much of the herbs we use and the lettuce and stuff. But yeah, I mean, that's really it. I thought that this video would be informative. Maybe encourage some other people that have some cheap LED lights that they can run through the winter off peak hours to give this a try. And, if you decide to do so, let me know what kind of results you receive. As this stuff grows, maybe monthly, I'll do a little report. I'm kind of obsessive, so I am probably going to wind up weighing a lot of this stuff so I can calculate exactly how much money we're saving and to see if it's worth the effort. But honestly, my initial reaction to this is that it's absolutely worth the effort, that it's going to produce like a nice bunch of fresh stuff for us that otherwise we wouldn't be able to get our hands on in the cold winter, dark winter months where it's difficult to get a hold of healthy supplies of green food. I mean, it's not difficult, but we don't know where it comes from most of the time. Not where it comes from, but what it's been handled with, what it's substrate it's grown in. I mean, what's sprayed on it. All these listeria outbreaks and different things. It just, to me, this makes a lot of sense. So yeah, we'll keep you posted, and we'll keep a close eye on this stuff, and we'll let you know really in the end what it's costing us versus what we're producing and what we're saving. And yeah, I mean, if you're interested into this stuff, it gives me something to do over the winter too, right? I mean, I miss being outside, and this year the snow started really early. We have a bizarre week this week coming up where every day's well above zero, 5 to 7 degrees and rain. So the snow's all melting now, but the damage has been done in the garden. Many days well below zero. I mean, you're talking 20, 30 days kind of below zero now. So everything's definitely done out there. But this is something to keep me healthy and happy over the winter. I'll apologize. I know that these lights play some tricks on the camera. I can see the black lines running down the screen. So sorry if that's offsetting a little bit. I can't really change it. But yeah, we're going to keep going with this. We're going to keep planting some more stuff as the seeds show up. I ran out of stock of my own stuff, so I expect to get them later this week, and we'll fill this thing to capacity and just see how much food we can really get going. So anyways, it's a lot longer than I anticipated, but thanks for tuning into the homestead, ladies and gentlemen. If you found this informative or useful at all, you could give me a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate that. The likes help get the video out to more people, and may just convince more people to save on food expense and grow some healthier stuff and get their kids involved and all the kind of stuff that we're trying to promote on the page here. All organic stuff, healthy food, and just ways to offset your day-to-day costs and remain healthy. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, folks. Have a great day. Take care. Bye for now.